This is the Bat Pod.
The Bat Pod presents Gotham Currents, a podcast about current releases of Batman comics.
Welcome to this edition of Gotham Currents. My name is Bill Beer, and joining me as always, John Coos.
Hey, Bill. I'm excited to talk about Batman.
What's going on? You sound very excited. Very excited.
Well, we had a bonus today. We weren't planning on covering a certain book, but it dropped this morning on Ultra, and it was awesome. We're gonna get into that, but I'm good.
That's good. So,
and baseball
tonight,
season starts in a couple days, which is cool.
It does.
Yeah.
So does spring football. So,
what's that? the UFL or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. We're not here to talk about sports. We're here to talk about comics. But
as you said.
Go ahead.
As you said, we're going to talk about Detective Comics 1094, Batman and Robin, Year 1, Number 5, Nightwing 123, and Two-Face Number 3.
The Bat Pod is a spoiler podcast. Please read the comics we're reviewing so you can enjoy the show.
Yeah. So, we are recording on a Wednesday, the day that Ultra comic books drop. And I think this is the first for us that we're recording on the day that a book dropped that we're covering, which is pretty efficient on our part, I think.
Pretty efficient. More efficient than it has been. That's for sure.
Exactly. So, we're going to start with the big book. I think this is my top stack book right now. Tom Taylor's Detective. We got 1094, Mercy of the Father, Part 5, writer Tom Taylor, artist Mikel Janin, letters Wes Abbott. That Wes Abbott, he is such a good letterer, Bill. We should talk about that for a whole episode. He does a lot of letters. And editor Ben Mears. So our story starts off where we left off in the last issue. Batman was in a street fight with Asima, who he prevented from taking another teenager. In the process, the teenager's throat got slit and Batman was drugged, laying paralyzed on the pavement. He voice commands his utility belt to inject himself with Flumzenil, a reversal agent for Asima's drug. He says the side effects are nasty, and he'll deal with that later. The boy is still alive, but bleeding out. He summons the Batmobile, which serves as a mini medical ward, complete with bags of blood with each blood type, and begins a transfusion while en route to the hospital. Harvey Bullock stands guard overnight in the boy's room. Batman concocts a plan to get inside the Faultless Detention Center, the one place that ties all the teenagers together that Asima has been draining of blood. He sends Damian in with a group of inductees to stay a few days. He tells Damian to not get thrown into solitary confinement. Play it cool, Damian. Play it cool. Complete with face-altering prosthetics, Damian gets processed into the facility while Bruce Wayne meets with the warden under the premise that he wants to invest in the prison. While meeting with the warden in his office, he engineers a slip and fall accident where the warden hits his head and is knocked out, allowing Bruce to plant one of Oracle's cyber devices. She gets into the security system, and Bruce downloads the contents of a computer with an Oracle-branded flash drive. In the juvenile prison mess hall, Damian defends a boy who is being harassed by a guard. He gets thrown into solitary confinement, but before that, they take some of his blood. Batman sneaks into the prison to get Damian out. Damian thinks Batman is mad because he got thrown into solitary, but Batman is actually proud of Damian for not letting another boy get manhandled by the guards. They go home, and on the front gate of Wayne Manor, there's an envelope. On the outside, it reads, "The truth you need to know." signed by Asima or Azima or whatever we're calling her. Okay, Bill. I mean, that's a summary, but it doesn't even come close to do the book justice. It's like I can't convey how awesome the art is. Now, as I always do, I skipped the cover. So let's talk about the cover. More white, Bill. More white.
Yeah, a little bit of white. A lot of colors in this. Green in the Batman and Detective Comic logo. And then you have Batman with his parents and Alfred, and then his Bat family, and then Asima. I like this cover a lot. It's called Bloodlines. This was the green really pops in this.
Well, I just did a summary, which might be good in this situation because Scarlet doesn't appear in this book unless she's Asima, which we don't know yet.
She appears.
Where?
Asima.
Oh, you think
Scarlet is?
She probably is. She probably is. But like we talked about, that might be one of those two obvious things to be true. But I think the way Scarlet is drawn on this, it's probably important. Maybe not. Maybe it's a deep fake kind of a trick for us to go, oh, well, she's behind it all. She's got a syringe in her hand after all, or whatever, right? But yeah, it's a good cover. It's a good cover.
Yeah,
so let's go.
The way the Bat family and his parents are in the cape, they're actually under his cape. I thought that has a very nice effect.
Oh,
and I didn't notice that initially when I looked at this, but it was a very cool effect.
It's interesting too because on the left side you've got the younger pre-murdered Thomas and Martha, right? That's them, right?
Yep.
And they're not in this book, but they're in the story, right? I mean, because of Scarlet,
most definitely,
on all that stuff. No, it's a great cover. So, yeah, the book though, as I said, like, it wasn't like a lot of story happened, in my opinion, but well, the prison stuff was really cool, and it did move it along. But I have to comment on the coolness of like a voice activated Bat utility belt compartment where he's like third pouch to the right, and then because he's paralyzed right now, he's got some kind of toxin in him, and I mean, and then it carries through to the Batmobile sort of like ambulance sort of setup with the blood.
Yeah,
I thought it was. It's like this is, of course, Batman has B positive, B negative, O. I'm sure he does. Of course he does. Right?
I've been thinking to myself, okay. Tom Taylor.
Yeah.
He did this long run on Nightwing. We get him here in Detective Comics. Show me something new. That's what I've been saying. Show me something new. I want to see something. In this issue, we see the utility belt, voice activated, like you said. That was totally cool. I wasn't expecting that. That's nothing that I've really seen before that I can recall. It was so cool. I don't know about the Batmobile and the ambulance, and he has blood. He has blood in there, ready to do a transfusion like right away.
Well, by the way, just real quick, I looked up the rarity of B negative blood. It's like 2% of people have B negative blood, and it's like, wait, just Batman's like, I've got some B negative just in case.
Oh, and you know what else? And you know what else he has in there? I work in science, so I know this. In the one scene where he's putting the blood onto a slide or whatever to analyze it, he has a pipetter there with a tip on it.
Okay.
That's just beyond like, wow. And he has all these different kind of, he was ready for anything. He's prepared for anything, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, you're speaking above my head and our listeners. What you're a mad scientist. What is a pipetter?
So basically, it's a device used to pick up small volumes of liquid.
Okay.
In mils. 1 mil is
milligram.
It's a milliliter.
Milliliter, okay.
but you can do microliters, so to very small amounts, like one drop of water might be 30 microliters, but it's a device that you can change the volume on it at the top and pick up very small amounts, because he'll need very small amounts to be on that slide. So I thought that was very cool.
And the stuff that he, because he's the world's greatest detective, you when you're doing a crime scene, you're looking at very small stuff.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
To solve
that
the
would
crime.
make total sense. I never thought of it when I saw it. It was like, oh, that's very cool.
Batman is so cool. He thinks of pretty much everything, which is why we love him. It's so cool.
And this character that's been around for almost 100
85 years or whatever it's been. Yeah.
Something new and like this that. To see, it's just very cool that it can be pulled out.
I like
story.
I don't know if you were just being dramatic, that you were like thinking, show me something new. But I agree with you. Like the bat belt thing was cool. And then right that next scene with, passenger seat, recline, turn into hospital bed or whatever. Like that was new stuff. Like you'd never seen that before. No. But it kind of, the blood, bags of blood for probably every blood type sort of seems like a chore. Like how long does it last? You could tell me maybe, I don't know. Can you like have blood lasting weeks at a time, or does Batman have to change out those bags all the time?
Well, I wouldn't. You would have to store them, I would think.
Cold. Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't have them like room temperature, that sort of thing. And what is it? Plasma?
I guess plasma.
What is it? Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think it's like
I thought he
blood.
I thought he needed a blood transfusion. I'm not, I didn't take a lot of science. I took the easy way with a social studies degree. I don't know. But if you have a loss of blood, you get. He said blood transfusion, didn't he? But
he did. Maybe he did have. Maybe he has freezer. Maybe he has a little cooler with some dry ice in there to keep it frozen. Who knows?
Okay, fair enough. So, okay, I'm going to hold back. You got any other observations? Because I do, about the lead up to the juvenile infiltration, the juvenile detention center infiltration.
Well, I think that the use of Damian, in this particular issue, and how he's been used in Batman and Robin, it's cool to see this. I know he's used a little different over there. He has some different. So I like seeing this a lot. I like Damian's going undercover. In reality, I don't know if he could pull it off. I don't know. I don't know if he's been around normal enough to pull it off. But apparently he did. So
yeah, I'm not doing this just from memory. I'm not looking at the pages right now, but I liked the scene where Batman tells him the plan. And I like the way, for some reason, Damian's super serious. Like, I get it.
Because the one panel, he says, I understand the mission, Father. As well as hiding my face, I will also conceal my utter contempt for authority.
I loved that. I loved it. And you mentioned the Batman and Robin book, and obviously this is all continuity, but we also know that these things happen in different times. They're not happening at the same time necessarily, whatever.
Right.
But in that book, we've got kind of a feud going. Feud's not the right word, but Damian's certainly struggling with, who he is and all this stuff. In this book, he's not, which is fine. It's just totally fine. I don't think it's inconsistent because it's different. It's probably different times, month too later or whatever else. But then Damian goes in, and I thought into the facility, and now, of course, kind of just for a story convention, I'm guessing Batman's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And, oh, by the way, you're going to join this group of kids that are like, are already being processed tomorrow. It's just fine. It just moves the story along, but it's just like, wow, Batman arranged all that like real quick. I mean,
Yeah, well, Bruce Wayne must have pulled some
Yeah,
strings, that
Bruce
sort of
Wayne.
thing.
Well, I think he's maybe Harvey had some help. Who
Yeah.
knows? I mean, and let's not spend a lot of time on this. I'm really liking the Harvey Batman vibe in Taylor's series right now.
I
Like
have to agree. It feels it. I like it a lot. And
it's like he's kind of like his Jim Gordon right now, because Harvey at times has been a kind of a Batman alley, but he's sometimes depicted as a problem or unreliable or some. I like it. I think it's cool. And
and I like a Bullock that is less goofy, less. Sometimes he's portrayed in older comics as clumsy and that sort of thing, which was fine for comic relief. But I like this Bullock a lot.
In Batman '89, is he in that? And he's kind of a bad guy almost, right? Like
that was I don't think he was in Batman '89. That was Detective Flask.
Oh, so yeah, he's corrupt and bad. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Confused. I'm sorry, Harvey. I'm sorry, Harvey. So back in the prison thing, I thought it was, or the juvenile detention center. It was really cool that I think it was kind of simultaneous or close. It's like, hey, people, you got to read this book. I mean, the scene where Bruce is posing as a potential investor and stuff, and obviously everybody knows who Bruce Wayne is. They know he's got tons of money. The warden probably naturally would be like, oh yeah, Bruce Wayne's here, let's talk, whatever. And that whole trip, I thought, okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting all amped up. That trip and that scene where he forces a slip and fall, let's call it, or a trip.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was super well done. I mean, there was a little narration, Batman's brain saying, I'm going to do this. Couple that with the art, and it was, I felt like I was watching a movie. Like, it was like cool. And then
it was done very well. It's one of those things that the art shows the action in there very well. It took 3 panels, but you see everything you were supposed to see, and nothing is missing. Nothing is missing.
Yeah. I do still think it's a little cute. It's now the second book, I think, in this series where either a tracker or a bug or a flash drive has Oracle's image on it.
Yeah.
Like, get that at Best Buy, the Oracle.
Right.
But and then at the same time, I kind of saw it coming, like Damian's not going to be able to hold back as this poor kid who doesn't want to eat this crappy food.
Mm-hmm.
Just basically says, like, I don't want to eat this. And then the guards are like, oh, okay, time to mess with you. And then Damian, stands up for him. And we'll come back to that in a minute. But any other comments on the Damian prison stuff?
No, I thought it was cool. I like that he stand up for this kid. And the picture, the panel, when you see his face, he picks up a baton from the one guard. He said, I made my choice and have decided what happens next. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I liked all of it. And I like that too. You know what's interesting? I just thought about it now in terms of the after analysis of the mission, which it didn't go exactly as Batman planned, because the objective of Damian being in there was to get intel of another nature that he couldn't get perhaps from doing what he did with the flash drive and all that. And that's okay. And that's okay, right? So the whole fact that Batman was proud of Damian for standing up for the kid is great, but it's so great that Batman doesn't care that the original intent of Damian being in there, other than to find out, I guess, that the kids are getting their blood taken. I guess that was the outcome.
Yeah, that's the goal, to find out what exactly is going on, what's up with this prison, and what are they doing to these kids.
Right. And so it all kind of points, like you said about the cover, we kind of talked about it in the last issue. I don't think Taylor is going to. I mean, I could care less either way. Honestly, I'm fine with it. But there's something that tells me it's like a movie or something you're watching where the killer is obvious, but then there'll be a twist, and it's not Scarlet. But we'll see. We'll see.
The one thing that led me to believe that it's hers when she found whoever this is found out that it was Bruce Wayne's blood that she had gotten. She called him Bruce. Didn't call him Mr. Wayne or Bruce Wayne, or he called him Bruce. Like she knows him on a personal level. So that's why I think that.
I don't know. I'm going to go with Joker's daughter. Just joking. Okay. Just joking. No, we'll see. We'll have to see. I mean, I know you look ahead, and sometimes I give you crap for it, but do you know if this story wraps up with part 6, or does it go 8, 9, 10?
This story, if I remember correctly, the June solicits, I think it's going into another story. So I think it might be 2 more issues.
Well, this was 5.
Wait a second. This came out in February, so it's going to be March. So it will be 3 more issues, I believe.
3 more
of this
from
particular the Asima story.
So it's going to be 8 total, because this is 5, right? This was 5.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Okay, fine. Okay, cool.
I mean, is there a point that this is broken up into 2 like parts of this? You know how they do stories. Sometimes it has like a part. Because this does say Mercy of the Father Part 5, so this is the 5th part.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might go Part 8. Yeah.
We'll have to find out. All right, cool. So great book. I'm gonna put you on the spot here. If you know, back in the day, I used to have a thing in my office where I would say, gun to the head. You have to choose. Is Batman absolute Batman or detective? If you had them both presented to you right now and say, this is the last comic you're going to read for a month, which one would you pick?
It's this one.
Okay. Okay. So
yes.
Absolute Batman's just under.
Well,
that's
wait till you read part 6. Wait till you read part 6.
Of this book?
Of Absolute Batman.
Oh, of Absolute Batman. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Okay, cool.
No, I've been enjoying this. It doesn't.
No, it's great.
This isn't a slap to the face of this story.
Yeah.
What do you think we get at the ending here?
The ending, where with the note.
Yeah, with the note there at Wayne Manor.
I mean, she obviously. You mentioned it before. She obviously knows that he's Bruce or Batman. Batman is Bruce. I'm almost wondering, does he open it up and Asima becomes an oddly sympathetic character of some kind, or?
Well, just remember the first part of this where I think she has Joe Chill set up for him to kill. He's bleeding and tied up, and she's like, "Here, I have him for you. You can kill him. We can kill him together."
That's right. That's a flash forward from the first book. Right? Okay, yeah.
So
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
We should be catching up to that scene pretty soon. Maybe even as of next issue.
I would agree. Are you buying the floppies of this book?
Yes.
Okay.
But I get mine. Mine are a couple weeks behind because I get mail order.
Okay.
So I have not read the second. Of course, I don't like to read the next issue until we cover the issue before. So even if I have it, I don't read it, so I'm not influenced. So.
Okay. Good.
So, okay. We will head to our next book. We got a little Batman and Robin Year 1, number 5. It's written by Mark Waid, Chris Samney, art and cover by Chris Samney, colorist Matthews Lopez, letters Clayton Clowes with Chris Samney, and editor Andrew Marino. And we get a cover here. We got Batman, looks like fighting off Clayface on the cover. I like this cover a lot. What did you think of this cover?
I liked it too. The clay, there's something about the way Batman kind of looks. It's like, obviously this is a retro book, but it feels super cool. Now, whose hand is in the foreground?
Well, I think it's like the story inside where, he kind of disintegrates into the clay face that we know, and that's just his glove that he was wearing. I'm assuming. I don't know.
Anyway,
I like this a lot. The colors, the green around the Batman and Robin, the yellow of the Batman. I really like this covers.
I like the way that the Clayface character is sort of in between the grates.
Yes.
And
stuff. Kind of slices through.
Cool. It's cool.
So
very cool.
In this issue, after lasting 1 hour in school before his guardian, Bruce Wayne, was called to pick him up, Dick says he's not returning to school the next day, but is warned that avoiding school will curtail his nighttime duties as Robin, the Boy Wonder. Later that night, Batman and Robin meet Commissioner Gordon atop Gotham City PD headquarters. Batman asks about the Melting Man, a.k.a. Mr. Hagen. Batman informs Gordon that he's aware Two-Face owns a stolen file from their office and that he knows Gordon is keeping something from him. Later that night, Bruce attends a farewell party hosted by a departing Martin Koski. Noticing a tattoo inside of his wrist, Bruce stays until the party ends and confronts Martin as the Batman, deducing that the real Martin is dead and his impersonator must be the Melting Man Hagen. The two battle down the stairs, all the while Alfred tries to radio that Dick's missing in action and is taking one of the bat bikes. As Batman barely survives his first encounter with Clayface, Robin holds up his own against a trap from Grimaldi's men, but eventually gets knocked out and captured by Grimaldi. So we got the 5th issue here. I tell you what, this Robin that we see, this Dick Grayson that we see in here, year 1, I'm just loving how he's portrayed. Mark Waid and Chris Samney, since they're doing this plot together, I'm really enjoying how Dick is portrayed. What did you think?
I am too. I think he's we have to remember, and I think Mark knows this, or Chris and Mark know this, is that he's processing his parents' recent death different than Bruce.
Oh, definitely.
His. And so he's acting out. Bruce acted inward. That's my take on it. And, we know it's going to eventually course correct because we know that Dick Grayson will kind of level set probably at some point, maybe by the end of this story. But I attribute all this rebelliousness, which some average reader might think is more Jason Toddish, but I think it's totally appropriate that a kid who's suffered this massive loss, not just one of his parents, but both, is he's got a rebellious streak, and it flares up, while at the same time maintaining somewhat of a whimsical persona, which is it's easy to gloss over this stuff, but I think Wade knows these characters better than anybody, and he's rounding them out maybe in a way that some people have never thought of, because all the books with Dick Grayson, going back to 1940 or whatever, all the way through up to New Titans and stuff, Robin Dick Grayson's kind of a one-dimensional sidekick, but this is a new take on Dick Grayson as a young Robin. That's my take.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I mean, here at the beginning we see, and as you said, he processes his grief differently. Well, he goes to school and one of the teachers is talking about the circus, and he takes offense to that. And he said, I felt like it was a slur. And of course, Bruce is like, it's just an observation, a slur. But I can see how Dick would think saying circus, a teacher, and their tone of voice, and it's like I didn't like how she said that, and I can see how that is, and yeah, he is taking his grief a little differently, well, a lot differently.
Well,
But,
yeah, I mean, he's a kid too,
uh-huh.
and so he grew up in a circus, and he has fond memories of the circus. The circus is where his parents got killed. He might not be aware of not every kid at 12, 13, 14 has heard every colloquialism such as "it's a circus,"
Right.
and I guess, lack of a better word, it triggered him, and it's totally understandable if you understand adolescence with loss. So it just happens. One thing that, let's lighten it up a little bit, is cool is like while they're in the limo back home or whatever, there's a great sequence where Bruce says, I managed to wane the principal into keeping your tantrum off the record this one time. And then 7 panels later, what Alfred whispers under his breath to Bruce, did you just use wane as a verb? And he's but it's like a whisper. And then Bruce says, just drive. But I thought when I first read it, like when I first read the first panel of I managed to wane the principal, meaning that I knew exactly what he meant. The charm of Bruce Wayne, the richness of Bruce Wayne, he waned him. And think about it for a second. That is brilliant. That Wade, I'm guessing Wade's the scripter. Who knows which one of the two storytellers came up with that line? But I don't know if you stopped on that or laughed. I loved it.
I chuckled at that. I thought it was kind of amusing.
But then the punchline kind of was Alfred going,
yeah, it was Alfred.
Wayne as a verb. I thought that was so clever. Anyway, sorry. I loved it. I'm sorry.
And the other thing that we get here that I really enjoyed is we get, this is year 1 Batman and Robin. This is year 1 Batman and Robin with Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
And when they show up, Robin at the head the rooftop with the bat signal, Robin's all gung-ho to like, yeah, here we are. We're to the rescue. And Gordon's like,
do you see an R
on this thing? And I said, I was hoping we could talk more privately. So yeah, Gordon isn't all down with his new sidekick as of yet.
Well, yeah, and Dick's all pumped up, ready for action, and then he gets parked with this whole Gordon wanting to talk to Batman alone.
Yeah, and
then Batman said, "Wait here, Robin," quietly, and then Robin's got this pouty face. Oh, it was like, God, this is so good, so good. Like okay, sorry, love it. And then the next page, he's still pouting, like on the balcony or whatever. Like,
right. Yeah, and Bruce has to go to this party where he meets this character who he figures out that he's being impersonated because of the tattoo. He got this tattoo removed like a month earlier.
Because he knows that.
Yeah. And Robin ends up taking, instead of bat cycle, but that almost looks like a Robin motorcycle. It has all the red in it.
Oh, good point. But
they wouldn't have made that for a 13-year-old.
No, probably not. No, probably not.
Yeah. But some observations I make with Two-Face, this is the second Two-Face. This is Two-Face 2.
Yeah.
Matt Hagen, as we know it. But then, if you think about it, the first Basil Carlo, the first Two-Face, was just, at the beginning, he was just Two-Face as in, not Two-Face, I'm sorry, Clayface. He was just Clayface as in, he was an actor and he used makeup. And then this Clayface was actually made of clay. And then later, Basil Carlo becomes Clayface that's made of clay.
Lots of clay faces.
Yes. There's, I believe 4. There might be 5, but there's 4 that I know of.
I'm looking at Wikipedia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, some of the newer ones,
Interesting.
I'm thinking of the Mud Pack storyline, Brayfogle. I'm thinking about that one is where we get the original Clayface. He can turn to clay and
Yeah, I'm most familiar with Basil Carlo.
mm-hmm.
I mean, he's probably the
And
most,
Matt Hagen in that story, Mudpack, he was
Mudpack.
just a hump of clay. He never was like alive for that story. So
you guys just covered that, right?
yeah, we covered that not too long ago. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I like how this, he turns from a man into putty basically, and how Batman is getting drowned in this one scene with the clay, and he uses his bat rope to kind of cut him in half. I thought that was a very cool scene.
Well, I thought also, when they're fighting on the stairs or whatever,
mm-hmm.
and then he realizes he throws the batarang or whatever, the hook with the rope, and it slices his leg off, or the lower part of his leg below his knee, and then it's laying there on the stairs, and then he thinks prosthetic, and then it has to be right. Already back on his foot and storming up fast, and then you got this panel where he's got this look on his face like, what the heck? And so what I felt when I read this is, Batman Year One, whatever continuity this is, whatever, fine, is that this Batman, unlike Batman of the comic we just read, like who's met Darkseid or whatever, this Batman hasn't dealt with superpowered villains yet. That's how I pulled it, because today's Batman wouldn't be surprised by anything. This one looks confused, like what the hell is going on?
Yeah,
here?
what is going on?
And I thought that was really. This book is so good. Anyway,
yeah, it is. And then, as I said, Robin goes off on his little bat bike, and he gets caught in a trap set by Grimaldi.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, with some surprise, he says, "Robin, I have some good news for you. I don't hurt children, but I have no problem baiting a hook with them."
Mm.
I like that a lot. This has been a fun series.
Yeah, very much so. And then Alfred's been trying to reach Batman. We kind of blew him off a little bit. That Robin's gone, and then
he's kind of in the middle of fighting Clayface at the time. So
true, but the Batman we know and love can multitask. Not this one, apparently, but he's young. And Robin. One thing, it's not a big thing, but kind of television showish, maybe, or maybe Silver Age-ish. Grimaldi's got Robin in his office tied to a chair, and his mask's still on.
Yeah,
I just felt that was like very throwbacky. Like, wouldn't you just take his mask off? Who is this kid?
Does he not care who he?
Maybe he doesn't care. I know, it's funny. All right, another epic issue. When this comes out as a graphic novel, I'll probably buy it as a gift to guys that I know like comics but don't currently maybe read them. Like, I know it's going to be. It'll be a great when it comes out in a hardcover.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Cool.
It'll be one of those that you point to for many years. Say, hey, you want to get into Batman comics? This might be a good one to check out.
Yeah, for sure. All right, then let's move on to Nightwing. We've got a cover here. What do we got here? Nightwing. Oh yeah, it's pretty. Well, it's a flyboy. It's a
Flyboy's eye.
It's a Flyboy
with a grin, I guess, and then
the reflection of Dick or Nightwing.
Yeah.
In the thing. Okay, so Nightwing 123, on with the show, part 5, dropping like flies. Writer Dan Waters, artist Dexter Soy, colors Veronica Gandini, letters Wes Abbott. He's so good at letters, Bill. God, he's so good. Editor Jessica Burby. Okay, so Bloodhaven's gang war continues with the Spirit Corporation pulling strings. Dick Grayson's sister, Mayor Melinda Grayson Lynn, is dropping in the polls and now has someone running against her, Bisgoni, who says he will get crime under control. Syric's CEO assures the mayor that they've developed new weapons for the Bloodhaven Police Department to use, but at a price. We turn to Nightwing, the man with the greatest butt in the DC universe. That's what you told me, Bill.
No,
In previous issues, he had given each warring gang faction an alarm if they needed his help or have any intention of attacking another gang. The Flyboys gang triggered the alarm. Nightwing heads to the location of said alarm. Nightwing deduces that a Dr. Proboscis saw a gap in the drug market and started, and I quote, splicing fruit fly DNA into his customers, making them all the more dependent on his drugs, with the bonus of granting them abilities. Those abilities include corrosive vomit and super strength. Cool power set. The tracker leads him to a seemingly underground facility, and he spots dead, highly mutated flyboys, about a half dozen. As he explores the facility, Nightwing tells Oracle that after the chemo event in comics way back in 2006, the thousands of people who died were unsafe to bury due to the toxicity of their corpses, so they were stored here. And the Flyboys must have found it as a place to hide, but now they are mutating in an extreme and fatal fashion. One of the highly mutated Flyboys attacks him, but Nightwing knocks him out with a slab of concrete. Then he's attacked by a few more, and he escapes into a room where he's greeted by Crystal, a slightly, as opposed to highly, mutated Flyboy. She's the one that called him. She wants his help to reverse the mutations. The story ends with Spheric's CEO meeting with Mayor Melinda, asking her how far she will go to protect the city. So, Bill, reaction.
I enjoyed this overall. It didn't feel like it feels like another one that's kind of continuing for a while,
meandering a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But I like this part. I like it was kind of interesting. We get Dick investigating these Flyboys a little bit, and we get, like we got in Detective Comics, we got something new with the utility belt. We get something new here with Dick Grayson, where he hits this button on his arm, and he has like a human flashlight. The little blue of his costume lights up like a flashlight. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was kind of, I thought it was cool too. A little odd in some ways, like it's like the Nightwing emblem is like illuminated. It's like a flashlight. I thought there was one sort of weird thing about the whole, these people that were killed in the chemo attack back in the Battle of Blood. I think it was the Battle of Bloodhaven series or whatever, during sort of Villains United, all that time around Infinite Crisis. I don't know if you remember reading that book or recently. Yeah. Anyway,
I haven't read it recently, but I remember chemo basically destroyed Bloodhaven.
Yeah, he did. And so the weird part about this, Nightwing's sort of exploring the facility and kind of narrating to us, but talking to Oracle, and he says, like, I wonder how many people remember it's here. I mean, he's talking about the facility. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, remember it's here? Like, if you're talking in comic terms, yeah. I mean, I wonder how many readers remember the chemo story from 19 years ago. But in comic continuity, this probably only happened like 8 years ago or 6 years ago or something. Like, I wonder how many people remember it's here. Like they're like 20 years have passed or something. Maybe I'm
the people, like, I think some of the things that you would know, that all the people that died, to keep they were like radioactive or whatever you want to call it, and they kept them in this underground bunker.
Yeah, and they said that the families buried empty caskets. They didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice touch. It's fine. I do love it though when, and we talked about it a little bit before. It's from the continuity junkie stuff. Is like they're picking and choosing things that happened pre-52, pre-crisis, pre-this, post that, and just kind of just choose, like, selectively pulling on all this DC history, which I dig. I dig it, because it makes it like, okay, we're in this, whatever you want to call this, we're now in this dawn of DC, now all in era. It's clearly like a post-Dark Crisis continuity of some stuff. Like they kind of finally have coalesced on a universe after New 52 blew apart, and then after the Convergence thing and all that stuff. I dig it all. And then, but they're also, it's not a hard reboot like after the Crisis, where nothing ever had happened. It's almost like everything has happened, and they can just pull whatever they want.
Everything matters, basically.
I actually like it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And because, yeah. Anyway, enough said. I guess I agree with you in the sense that on the whole, like, okay, are they just stretching this out for the 8-issue graphic novel? Just kind of like, not a lot is really happening.
I mean, like, the Cirque du Sin isn't really mentioned. I mean,
that's true.
We only see a couple scenes with Clumbina, Spirit Solutions.
Yeah.
And no mention of the Zanny. The Zanny.
I know.
I still have no idea what that is. It almost feels like this was a side mission,
Well, one thing. Go ahead.
They have a few scenes, with the mayor and things that happened last issue with, the bomb going off and that sort of thing. But it doesn't really move it forward, except she's kind of telling the mayor that, she can help her win this election. What? Because it ends here and she's like, how far do you want to go to win, basically? And it ends, and Dick's saying the same thing. He says he won't break any promises.
Right. Well, I was just about to comment on that. It's in the book, basically. I mean, it slaps us right up in the face. Like, it's almost oversold. Like, they're setting up Melinda Grayson Lynn, the mayor, as being so concerned about the crime situation that's going to lead to a potential political defeat, losing the election, that she's going to, like, the writer is basically saying, hey, reader, Melinda's going to arm up and go deeper, and she's going to have a conflict with her brother in the next issue. Like, it's almost like it's so obvious, which it's not very subtle.
No, not at all. I mean, that's coming. She's going to make a decision that Dick would not agree with, for sure.
Yeah, she is. She's about to.
But overall, I enjoyed this.
I did too.
Yeah. I'd like to see the next issue move a little bit more. Give us a few more breadcrumbs. We didn't even get any breadcrumbs. I'm pretty hungry.
I don't really like the gangs that much.
Yeah, they're kind of just, they're
like the Teddies and the mutated Flyboy drug addicts. I mean,
they're okay. I mean, it's nothing that I will say, hey, you remember that arc with all the different gangs? And they're...
I know. All right, cool. So let's go with the surprise book of the year, which is really cool. Two-Face, which you're going to cover.
Yeah, we got Two-Face number 3. Your writer, Christian Ward. Art, Fabio Veras. Cover, Balmar Rivius. And colorist, Ivan Placencia. And we get a cover here. There we go. We got baby doll holding what looks to be a Two-Face dummy on the cover. What did you think of this cover?
I thought it was fun and read me, like this is going to be good. Like I thought it was cool, like Chucky kind of like Child's Play kind of like ooh, creepy, weird, like cool. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, I like this a lot. This is fun.
Yeah, it's cool.
And you got the smoking gun there. It'll look pretty cool. So
yeah.
So in this issue, Harvey faces unrest in his prison created to keep Two-Face at bay. Faces another move by the Shadow Hand. Scarface has been taken from the ventriloquist and is in the hands of Baby Doll, who makes her first comic book appearance from Batman the Animated Series. Doubt of the Shadow Hand gets control, but with the help of Lake Cantwell, we find out who is behind the Shadow Hand as it is revealed. Two-Face is behind the Shadow Hand trying to regain control. So, I didn't have any idea who was behind the Shadow Hand. I assume it was gonna, we saw a group of characters a couple issues ago, and a few I was fairly familiar with. Some I had no idea who they were. I didn't know who was in the dark there, but I love the twist that it was Two-Face.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, did you cover the whole story?
This whole story?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm scanning through it again. But you glossed over some of the cooler scenes with like Baby Doll and Two-Face, and maybe we can talk about it now.
I wanted to go into Baby Doll a little bit because here at the beginning, as I said, we get a little unrest in his fake prison, and we start to see that. But then we see it's actually Harvey Dent and Lake Cantwell go and they're trying to find the ventriloquist. So I'm going to give my one...
Scarface, you mean?
Yes.
The doll. The ventriloquist doll, yeah.
Yeah, it was taken from the ventriloquist.
Right.
Ventriloquist and Scarface being one of my favorite villains. They don't really do justice here with those characters because you don't see the ventriloquist at all, and you only see Scarface as a lifeless doll. But they go and they discover that, this Baby Doll has taken Scarface for a love interest, apparently. And she's directly from the animated series. And if you saw the episode, The Baby Doll, she is this woman that's in a body of a girl and won't age beyond a certain age. And she was in a hit sitcom. And then once she got a little older, she couldn't get other work. She kind of sort of not really aged out because she was the same age, but she took revenge on the family, her original TV family, and kidnapped them. And here she has the ventriloquist, and Doubt is on the scene, and he kind of takes Harvey here, using his words, which I like. I like this character a lot if he's used in this way, because they're trying to find out. And Lake Cantwell, who apparently has hearing aids, takes those hearing aids off and is not affected by Doubt. And then she hits him and asks him who the Shadow Hand is.
Are you familiar with Baby Doll's sort of bodyguard / lackey, Miriam?
Okay. She was in the animated series, and she went up against Batman and Robin, and she was a formidable fighter. So her being taken out pretty quick by Two-Face kind of makes sense for this scene here.
Like he just straight up shoots her.
Yeah, he shoots her right in the gut,
which is really cool because the page before you got sort of like a half splash page panel, all white, which is kind of a cool effect here. And she's about to, do a flying kick. And then you flip the page, and in midair, he just shoots her, which I thought
shoots her.
And it even Cantwell's like, holy crap, boss. That was brutal. I mean, some of the panels with Lake Cantwell's sort of facial expressions throughout this book are really good. And she's, kind of a lackey minor character herself, but it's cool. And then the baby doll stuff, I just wanted to make a family, and like she's clearly insane. Insane.
So in the animated series, I mean, it's worth watching. If
I'll check it out.
She uses this baby voice basically, but she has an adult voice. So in the end, when they get her, she uses this adult voice. Actually, Batman chases her into a house of mirrors, and in one of the mirrors, she sees an adult of herself, and she's taken out by the Batman. But I mean, it's not a character that I'm gonna say, hey, I want to see her come back. I think it's a cool shout out to the animated series, but.
Yeah, no, I like the homage to that. It's pretty cool. And so at the end here, are we thinking that the Two-Face persona is going to overcome Harvey?
It's a good possibility. Well, the Two-Face is trying to, what Harvey is trying to do with the White Church is trying to do some good, and Two-Face is there's no good in him.
Right.
This part of him. So it'll be interesting. It says the trial of Harvey Dent next issue. It'll be interesting to see where that goes and what that's all about.
We have to explore something here. You had a very bold, impassioned proclamation that ventriloquist is one of your favorite villains. Will you please expound upon that?
I would say it's one of my favorite underrated villains that we haven't seen in a long time. And in the 90s, I really liked his appearances, me personally. But we really haven't seen him used in a long, long time. And this is not an appearance that I would say is his comeback.
Agreed. It's funny. We talked about it just, I don't know, half an hour ago, whatever, that you guys, David, and you covered the Mudpack storyline. And, I think we've talked about it in the past that we both really liked that run of Breyfogle and that whole era. That's Detective, right?
Yeah, that was in Detective Comics. Yeah.
But that's when I think they had a ventriloquist arc during that time too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I can't say I've read every single issue of Batman and Detectives ever, but that, if I think of ventriloquist or I see him even, just in the background at some weird thing where, you've got villains in a warehouse or something, like I always think of that Breyfogle run with ventriloquist. Do you have any recommendations for good ventriloquist stories?
There was a couple of the showcase issues. What was it, like 90 something? It would be showcase 90. I don't know if it was 95, 96 or what the year was, but there is 2-issue arc that showcases the ventriloquist, his origin basically. And it has him at Blackgate, and the dummy Scarface was actually created from the haunted gallows, the place where the wood that they hang prisoners that get the death penalty, and they created him from the haunted gallows. And it's a 2-issue story, I believe. It may be 3 issues, but that's a very good story. I would recommend because it's done by the creators of Scarface. So
okay, right on, cool. You have to text me that as a refresher so I won't forget what you just said. But
okay.
I want to.
Okay. You falling asleep over there? What's going on?
I know. I want to. I want to check that out. So today we had a big drop of books. When do you think so we have an announcement today. I don't know if did we talk about it last week that I submitted to your pressure and your extortion
Oh yeah,
that we're gonna cover Green Lantern Corps. So I don't think we're ready yet for DC Currents because I don't think Titans has come out yet. But Justice League Unlimited came out today, and Green Lantern Corps came out.
Yeah, we're just waiting for just JSA because Titans did come out.
We were waiting for just JSA. Titans did come out.
Yeah,
last
Titans
week?
Is out. Justice League is out.
And Green Lantern Corps is out.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
Okay, just so everybody knows, I just looked it up. It is Showcase 94, number 8 and number 9. Yeah, that has that ventriloquist story in here.
Showcase 94?
Yeah, it's called Showcase 94.
8 and 9.
8 and 9. Here, I will send you the pictures so you don't forget.
Did you read a lot of these?
Yeah.
Back in the day?
Yeah, they were kind of cool. It depended on the story. I think there were several stories in there, so
Oh, this really goes back. Prelude to Zero Hour.
Yeah.
Oh, it's written by Jurgens. That's cool. I'll check this out for sure.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good story.
Is Batman in it? Or is it one of these kind of things?
No,
like
he's not really in it. It's basically about the origin story of the ventriloquist.
Oh, look at this. I'm gonna have to read some of these because there's a Showcase 94 number 12, which is about Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's early Oracle. I think probably pre Birds of Prey. I'm gonna check. Oh yeah, I'm gonna dive into some Showcase 94. Cool.
There you go.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, good books this week. Good books.
Yeah. So, Les, we'll be back here probably a little over a week, just because we're waiting to see. JSA should come out next week, and then we'll have our DC Currents. Batman, the regular Batman issue, the Hush 2 issue just dropped today, so we're a month away from that coming out.
Cool.
So
cool. And that's a crossover, or no? Just straight out of Batman.
That's just in the Batman book.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's the sequel to the Hush. And so we were talking about that Scarface story. The story is actually done by John Wagner, who's one of the creators of the ventriloquist and Starface. Because there's 3 stories in there.
You mean the Showcase 94 book?
Yes, the Showcase 94 book. It's Alan Grant, John Wagner.
Oh, there's 3 stories. So the Jurgens story is about Wildcat or something else.
Yeah.
Because okay, I get it. Okay, fine. Well, okay, good. I'll check that out. I need some more ventriloquist in my life.
Who doesn't, right? But yeah,
Apparently,
there is a 0 hour story that Dan Jurgen does in there.
You can't get enough of ventriloquist, apparently.
Well,
and you were so disappointed when you were teased.
Yeah.
In the Two-Face book,
and he was, Tom King had a little ventriloquist, but he only used the ventriloquist. He didn't really use Scarface. You only saw him lying on the floor in one panel, but that was it. So
cool.
Okay, we'll get ready and wrap it up here. And as I said, we'll be back in a week or so with some DC Currents until we get some of our Gotham books. So appreciate you catching up with Gotham Currents, and we will see you later.